All right, guys, let me tell you. The Democrats got to answer some questions. Okay, they got to answer some questions because all last year, what we heard was that Trump was a failure. That Trump was responsible for all 300 plus thousand COVID-19 deaths. Okay, that's what we heard, right? And that dictator slash governor Andrew Cuomo was handling the virus spectacularly. He was the golden boy in terms of how leadership is done during a pandemic. Okay, that's what they told us, right? So much so that Cuomo thought that he can write a book on it, right? And he did. He wrote a book on leadership during the pandemic. Now, this was after the nursing home scandal in which Cuomo wrote a poorly written directive that forced nursing homes, or at the very least, they thought they were forced to pack in elderly patients, including those with COVID-19. They cannot deny an elderly patient solely because they had COVID-19, right? That's what the order said, okay? And Cuomo thought that even after this scandal that all the conservatives knew about, all the conservative media was talking about, he thought that after this, he could still write a book on leadership and how to handle this, right? However, lo and behold, right, as Trump is, out of office and the attention is off of him, right? And hopefully Republicans can keep attention off of themselves. Cough, cough. Ted Cruz, keep attention off of yourself. But we're going to see the media really press the Democrats on the Andrew Cuomo situation because he covered up the deaths. He underestimated the counts and tried to cover up how many people actually died during that incident. Even his own attorney general, who's a black woman, right? Don't y'all like that? That's what the wokey say. A black woman said that they underestimated by probably about 50%. That is thousands of lives, okay, that they underreported, okay? And because apparently Cuomo did not want to give Trump any firepower. Again, it seems like the Democrat agenda revolves around Trump, and when there's no more Trump, it falls apart, right? Unsurprisingly, okay? So the Democrats got some questions to answer because they painted Cuomo as this great leader and the standard for how things should be done when it comes to handling a pandemic. So let's hear Jen Psaki answer questions about this, okay? Because we got to know, amid all this, right, is Cuomo still the standard? Is that who we should be emulating? Covering up deaths? Is that what we should be doing? It's very important that she answer this question. So let's hear her attempt to answer this question.
Okay, I want to turn to another controversy that raged this week. Andrew Cuomo under fire for allegedly not being transparent and misleading on the number of nursing home deaths in New York. Last spring, President Biden cited Andrew Cuomo as the gold standard for leadership during the pandemic. Take a listen.
Your governor of New York's done one hell of a job. I think he's sort of the gold standard.
So now we've seen that Governor Cuomo has allegedly undercounted nursing home deaths, misled legislators in New York, and he called New York Assemblyman Ron Kemp raising questions, basically threatening to destroy him, I think was his actual words. So does President Biden still consider Andrew Cuomo the gold standard when it comes to leadership on the pandemic?
Look at her face, boy. That's the face of somebody that's like, damn, he got me, boy. He got me. Oh, my God. I don't know what to say right now. I don't know how I'm supposed to finesse this. This is the face that you get before you get a finesse. This is what people do before they're about to finesse. They make this crooked smile, they look right in the camera, and they lie or avoid answering the question. Okay? This is what they do, right? This is the face of let me circle back with you on this. So let's hear what Jen Psaki got to say.
Well, Jon, we work with Governor Cuomo just like we work with governors across the country. He's also chair of the NGA, so he plays an important role in ensuring that we're coordinating closely and getting assistance out to people of his state and to states across the country. And we'll continue to do that. And there, of course, will be a process. The investigations will leave that to others to determine, the appropriate law enforcement authorities to determine how that path is going to move as we look forward. But we are going to continue to work with a range of governors, including, of course, Governor Cuomo, because we think the people of New York, the people of states across the country need assistance, not just to get through the pandemic, but to get through this difficult economic time. And that's where our focus remains.
All right, but Jen, my question was, does President Biden still believe that Andrew Cuomo is the gold standard, represents the gold standard on leadership during this pandemic? Just a yes or no. Does he
well,
still consider
John,
him
the
gold
president, the president, well, it doesn't always have to be a yes or no answer, John.
What do you mean it don't have to be a yes or no answer? He said, listen, this is a yes or no answer. Do you think that Cuomo is the gold standard? Right? What she said before was basically that, oh no, we should continue to work with Cuomo, but she didn't answer whether or not she thinks that his leadership is the gold standard. Okay? We need to know, do you think everybody else should follow behind Cuomo's leadership of covering up deaths for political gain? That's actually a very important question. Okay? And you need to answer this question. You can't try to finesse out of this one. Okay, Psaki? You got to answer this one. Right? Because it is a yes or no question. Of course, you're going to have to work with Cuomo. Right? Nobody's telling you that you can't work with Cuomo anymore. He's the governor. Right? Until he is kicked out of office or resigns, which he should, obviously you got to work with him. So that's not the question. We just need to know, are we still following his leadership on this? Again, very important question.
John, I think the president is focused on his goal, his objectives as president of the United States. He's going to continue to work with Governor Cuomo, just like he'll continue to work with governors across the country. And I'm not here to give new labels or names from the president. I'm here to communicate with you about what our focuses are and what his objectives are as president.
All right, White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki, thank you for joining us here on This Week. I hope it'll be the first of many appearances.
I don't know why he let her get away with that. He should have pressed on that because, Jen, how is it that Biden can focus on his agenda and work with his agenda when he has a governor that potentially is covering up deaths? Okay, if Cuomo is covering up deaths, then doesn't that get in the way of Biden's agenda because they're not having accurate numbers, right? If this man is potentially fudging numbers with that, what other numbers might he be fudging? Because we all know New York was one of the worst states. It could be a lot worse than what Cuomo is letting on, and we don't know because he might be fudging the numbers. And if I'm the Biden administration, this is something that if I'm going to carry out my plan, right, I need to work with the data. I need to understand the numbers. If the numbers are false, then that could lead to me making a bad decision, right? Because I don't have all the information available to me. Okay? So to sit here and give an answer of, well, you know, Biden's going to continue to work with Cuomo, of course. Of course. But you still have to answer the question of whether or not we need to follow behind Andrew Cuomo, right? Because if this was Trump that was in this situation, you'd be asking every Republican, do they go along with it? And what you have, you ask every time there's a controversy with Trump, the Republicans got to answer the question of, do you go along with this? Yes or no? They do this to Republicans all the time. Okay? So when a Democrat like Cuomo does something like this, it's important to know, Ms. Psaki, does the Biden administration think that his leadership is something that we should continue to follow during the COVID-19 pandemic? Very simple question. The question that they always ask to Trump, and then Psaki thinks that, oh, well, you know, the answer doesn't always have to be yes or no. She just rather had no answer. She gonna circle back later. And that's what really kills me about Jen Psaki. The media just kissing her butt and the liberals kissing her butt when she's not even doing her job. She's not even answering questions. Again, I would much rather have somebody lie to me than to not answer the question at all, because at least if you lie to me, I have some information to work off of. Well, if you're just not going to answer the question, I have no information to work off of. Jen Psaki is not giving us any information. That to me is a lot worse, again, than being lied to. And this is unacceptable. I mean, so, this reporter here didn't do too bad because, he asked her again. He knew that she was avoiding the answer. He called her out on it. Good for him. But, I wish he really would have answered that question because that is important. Because you told us that he was the standard. So now that he messed up, you got to tell us, do you still think that he's the standard? What do you think about Cuomo right now? I mean, you should have asked, do you think Cuomo should resign? Do you think Cuomo should step down from his duties? Fair question. I think he should strongly consider it. He's obviously shown that, he's reckless about human life, that he's corrupt, that he'll do anything for political gain, especially when it comes to Trump. So, let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.